Hello, we're group one. My name is Fiorella.
I'm Harut.
I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Cecilia.
I'm Nathan.
And our project is on interface, and I will start by talking about the history in the beginning. So Ray C. Anderson founded Interface in 1973 after he discovered carpet tile in Europe and recognized its potential in modern offices. With the concept of free lay carpet tile brought to America, Anderson started a revolution in commercial carpet flooring. At the beginning of Interface's production, they had really strong technical benefits, but weak aesthetics. The carpet tiles were practical, but they were not pretty. In 1988, Interface introduced Quantum, which has the first tufted loop carpet tile. This altered the company's design capabilities and the course of the business in general. I will now pass it on to Liz to talk about the epiphany.
Thank you, Fiorella. Interface has had a long journey in order to reach the point of becoming an environmentally aware company. But unlike seventh generation, who started off with the idea of being eco-friendly, Interface didn't decide to take action until 1994. So what caused them to realize that they were leaving such a large carbon footprint? In the early 90s, a customer asked the owner what they were doing to help the environment, and he simply couldn't give an answer. From that point on, he instantly gave his employees the task of answering that question. Ray read Paul Hawkins' The Ecology of Commerce and was so influenced by it that he called that exact moment an epiphany, a moment that changed his perspective on the entire business. He instantly decided to set a new course for Interface and declared that Interface would become the first environmentally sustainable flooring company. Next, I have Harut talking about the starting of the journey.
Thank you, Liz. In recognizing the complexity of reshaping Interface to become a sustainable company, Ray Anderson formed the Eco Dream Team, which included the expertise of authors, activists, scientists, and entrepreneurs. Their progressive thinking helped Interface begin mapping the journey, which was called A Mountain Higher Than Everest, known only as Mount Sustainability, which was the size and the scope of the entire journey. Interface initially identified 7 key areas, the 7 fronts, where it needed to progress to achieve the vision of Mount Sustainability. These key areas included eliminating waste, developing zero problem emissions, switching to renewable energy, closing the loop, using resource efficient transportation, sensitizing stakeholders, and lastly, redesigning commerce. Overall, the challenge began with reducing harm and eliminating waste, and then moved towards more ambitious heights, culminating in a transformed commercial model. Towards the end of the process, we are well beyond the walls of the factory, which now involves inspiring change in customer behavior and changing the entire business culture more broadly. Additionally, Interface set aggressive zero targets in many areas: zero waste to landfill, zero fossil fuel energy use, zero processed water use, and zero greenhouse gas emissions. It was truly the start of a historic journey, as the 7 fronts set the bar very high as a standard that every company can aspire to. Interface became the standout model to look for companies wanting to move towards a more sustainable platform. I will now pass it on to Cecilia to talk about the 21st century.
Thank you, Haru. In the beginning of the 21st century, Interface delivered one innovation after another. In 2000, Interface redefined a modular carpet with the introduction of entropy and the emerging I2 category of produce. The same year, Interface came up with the first commercial carpet collection that used recycled nylon in the face fiber and 100% recycled content vinyl backing layer. Interface keeps experiments with renewable and recycled materials to help the environment and introduces their glue-free installation system called Tactiles. In 2000, Interface installed a 17 kilowatt solar array at the Kyle plant in La Grange, Georgia, to supplement power sources. Additional, Interface introduced the Great Plains collection, which was the first commercial carpet tile produced to use a hybrid face fiber with a corn-based polymer, polylastic acid PLA. They are no longer using PLA, but it was the first step in search of higher performance or renewable and biodegradable materials. Also in the same year, Interface introduced Deja Vu, which is the first commercial carpet collection to use recycled contact nylon in the face fiber. For water installed carpets in elementary schools and launched their recycled content fiber and recycled content backing layer from an overall recycled content of 51% to 54%. In 2001, Interface launched their grass bag recycled content created with a layer of recycled content vinyl. In 2002, Interface introduced School Carpet, their first carbon offset for carpet commercial applications. In 2006, the Tactiles glue-free insulation offered cleaner, faster, earthly-friendly alternative to traditional adhesive with environmental footprints more than 90% lower than traditional fluorine adhesives. In the same year, Interface also introduced Cool Blue, which is the manufacturing process that helps search for new renewable and usable materials. Lastly, in 2008, Interface introduced their eco-friendly grass and bamboo woven floor tile sourced from artisanal weavers in India. Now I'm passing it over to Nathan, who will talk about 2020 history.
Thank you. As they reach their 25-year sustainability journey, Interface has evolved their thinking and approach. Not only they have reduced the impact and environmental impact, but also affected the social impacts and new business models. Interface uses 100% recycled content nylon for their carpet tiles. The company has also completed Mission Zero and has transitioned into a higher goal, which is climate take back. This will help create a better climate fit for life. They created something called circuit back green backing, which stores more carbon in its life cycle than emitted. Now I'm passing it to Fiorella, who will talk about Mission Zero.
Thank you, Nathan. So Interface has set out to transform their business to have zero impact on the planet by the year 2020. This is what they called Mission Zero. This project was extremely ambitious for a company that had never considered sustainability before, but they were able to execute their mission by transforming themselves into a purpose-driven flooring company. In order to do this, Interface implemented new business models and transformed their supply chain and products. By 2020, they were able to achieve their goal. By setting such an ambitious goal, the company was able to promote the passion and innovative thinking they needed from their employees in order to get there. Mission Zero also gave the company a clear goal to work towards. Due to Mission Zero, Interface was able to reduce negative impacts at their factories and influence others to adopt transformational goals. I will now pass it on to Liz to talk about the journey.
As Fiorella has stated, the company was able to execute their Mission Zero plan. However, it did take a few years for them to successfully complete this task to reach sustainability. Their journey began back in 1994. They had an overall goal, which was to reach sustainability by the year of 2020. During the years 1995 to 1997, they began establishing the framework and creating the foundation. They started with a re-entry recycling program, which was created to make sure flooring tiles didn't end up in landfills. Along with the program, they developed a way to measure and track sustainability, so they're able to then deliver results through their ecometrics program. Shortly after, Quest, quality utilizing employees' suggestions and teamwork, was launched in order to incentivize employees to eliminate waste. By the 2000s, these programs were put into full effect, which led to Interface becoming the first to pilot the environmental product declarations, which had such a huge effect on other major companies like Walmart, for example. Declaration report simply tells the life cycle story of a product. It provides information about a product's environmental impact. The mission was not over. From that point on, they created new goals that took helping the environment to the next level. In 2016, they launched the Climate Take Back, which was created to remove carbon from the atmosphere and protect natural carbon sinks, basically to help reverse global warming. Within the same year, they broke all connections with the CRI in order to support California's recycling law, AB 1158. From this point on forward, they did what they could to reach full sustainability. developed carbon negative carpet tile, joined materials can, and so much more, so that by the year 2019, their mission zero, the climate take back, was complete. And now I have Harriet speaking about how this created a ripple effect for other major companies.
Thank you, Liz. So the real question is, how can the actions of one company like Interface start a ripple effect of positive environment impacts? Well, Interface's goal to have zero impact on the planet by 2020 has had measurable results, not only for the business, but also for others. Interface has set a goal of zero emissions, as said before, to deeply reduce and continue reducing the environmental impact of the business. Interface has transformed its products, redesigned its supply chain, and turned the idea of sustainability into a positive business proposition for the company as well as for others. The company has gone beyond just measuring its environmental footprint to creating an environmental handprint. In other words, a contribution that causes positive change in the world. Interface used two key methods to create the ripple effect. This includes inspiring the use of alternative energy and inspiring demand for sustainable materials. Interface became a user of the landfill gas for its factory, reducing environmental impacts by displacing natural gas, ultimately creating a ripple effect or handprint when the excess landfill gas was sold to another local manufacturer. Furthermore, Interface indirectly created a handprint while working to reduce the footprint of its product through the supply chain. The company posed questions to their suppliers. For example, what if what goes into the product could actually be beneficial to the environment and even society? In doing this, they inspired the suppliers to deliver materials that keep our planet in mind. The company created the highest available post-consumer and post-industrial recycled content, creating a broader impact outside of Interface, extending it to the other companies. With these two actions, the creation of new recycled materials and a landfill gas to energy product, and the ripple effects they created, set up a handprint of 1 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent during the years they were active. Now I will pass it on to Cecilia, who will talk about the climate take back in
Thank
sustainability.
you, Ru. Since the beginning its sustainability journey, Interface has reduced its carbon footprints by 74%. It achieves this reduction by working with suppliers to make changes to its raw materials, including the incorporation of recycled and bio-based materials, and by instituting more sustainable manufacturing actions, such as the use of renewable energy and process efficiencies. Let nature cool support our biosphere's ability to regulate the climate. Lead industrial revolution, transform industry into a force for climate progress. In 2019, Interface hosted their global summit for their employees. This summit aimed at building awareness and creating optimism around their climate take back mission. They also released a 20-foot sustainability interface, a 20-foot sustainability interface reported and celebrated mission CEO success a year early in 2019. Interface also ranked in the top 3 companies of Global Scan Sustainability Leaders Survey since 1992. Interface is coming up with different ways to battle climate take back. They want to have an influence on their environment impact. They want to have strong influence on their business. Many businesses are coming up with different sources and ideas, and Interface tried working with other companies, but they had no luck in changing the climate and had been faced with only negative sources with their business because they are not good for the environment. Interface came up with a program called Networks, which supports other companies and business for their best. The way to make sure these companies are recycling and re-entry materials they already have with the network, with the reuse what they have. We need to balance our oxygen to live better life on Earth, and we want to see sustainability practices that could help reduce carbon and reduction of cutting trees down, and interface with an idea with the climate change about planting more trees and taking care of them until they grow. In 2018, Interface came up with the climate take back flooring product that is fully carbon neutral called carbon neutral floors. This is a product that supposed to help the environment. Now I'm going to pass it on to Nathan, who will talk about sustainability video.
Okay, we could play the first 30 seconds of the video.
We're at a really critical point in history right now in terms of the need to really change our language on climate change and really raise our level of ambition. Would you rather be working on a challenge that says, create a product for us that loves carbon and shows that we can solve reverse global warming, or knock off another 10% in terms of the reduction of the carbon footprint of the product? What's more exciting? You want to work on the product that's going to manifest an intention to solve the biggest issue facing humanity.
All right, to summarize, the video posted is based on sustainability. Their idea is to fix climate change and to create something to lessen the carbon footprint that we face every day. Once they raise their ambition level, it changes their whole perspective on what they can change on the world. Interface has been around for 43 years and has taken a major change of course when a customer asked, "What is your company doing for the environment?" And the sales team couldn't answer the question, and it led to them losing a big order. So now they make the change to go from their zero carbon footprint, which transitioned to this new mission statement called Climate Take Back, and is to reverse global warming. To also renovate their factory so it can not only support not just less, but to also have zero carbon emissions. They reached out to climate leaders, and 95% of them believe that they can do it. Now I'm gonna pass it to Ferriola, who will talk about the Climate Take Back.
Thank you, Nathan. So Interface understands that in order to reverse global warming, they must prioritize decarbonization. To do this, it is imperative that they do their part in diminishing carbon emissions to clean the atmosphere. They have identified 4 fronts where they can start taking action. These 4 fronts are Live Zero, Love Carbon, Let Nature Cool, and Lead Industrial Revolution. Live Zero deals with conducting business in ways that gives back to the environment. Love Carbon is a way of changing viewpoints about carbon and treating it as a resource instead of an enemy. Let Nature Cool embraces the biosphere's own ability to regulate changes in climate. Lastly, Lead Industrial Revolution is about influencing other industries to join Interface in their fight against global warming. I will now pass it to Haru to speak on benefits of sustainability.
Thank you, Fiorella. So sustainability has so many positives. The 7 fronts mentioned earlier are probably the biggest positives from sustainability, which includes eliminating waste, developing zero problem emissions, switching to renewable energy, closing the loop, using resource efficient transport, sensitizing stakeholders, and lastly, redesigning commerce. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, Interface has set a goal of transforming their business to have zero impact on the planet by the year 2020, called Mission Zero. In this process, Interface set aggressive zero targets in many areas: zero waste to landfill, zero fossil fuel energy use, zero processed water use, and zero greenhouse gas emissions. And these are all very, very beneficial from sustainability. I will now pass it on to Nathan to talk about the drawbacks of sustainability.
Thank you. So carbon footprint is one of the most sustainable ability that this company realizes they produce. So this is why that they set a goal called Mission Zero, which is targeting to have zero greenhouse gas emissions, zero processed water use, zero waste to landfill, and more. In the United States, we emit 16 tons of gases per person. If we want to survive, prevent global temperatures from reaching 2 degrees Celsius, then we have to lower our carbon footprint by 2 tons by 2050. Water use is something that we struggle with, especially in California. There was one point in California where we're in the drought. A lot of people waste water by overflowing the yards or misdirection of the sprinklers. But also major companies like Interface need water to produce and give their employees. This situation interacts with pollution, so it can affect someone in the near future. Landfill waste is very preventable if people take the time to do it. Leaving your trash around increases our landfill waste. Businesses need to lower their waste so they can improve their environment, but also it will lower the costs. Costs are affected by constantly spending money on disposables costs instead of focus on what can be recycled. They also change and improve the company's manufacturing process. All these changes can widely affect your business and bring in investors as they will see how much you're trying to improve the company, but also the environment, as it's something that we struggle with every day.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. And here is our works cited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.